Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for being with me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. Today I just got a short little video that I want to share with you as I update you on my update path to my audio systems. I'm trying to replace my 30-year-old Classe CA 150 power amp and my Classe CP 50 preamp with a built-in phono stage. Been trying to audition as much as I possibly can and listen to as much as I can. Some of the stuff that I've been listening to, I'm able to bring home, which is really what I'm going to talk about today. Today I have with me, and have had for the past few days, Moon Audio's from their North collection, the 761 power amplifier. Excited to have this into my system. It's been a really interesting, very interesting few days that I've been able to spend with it. I've got some albums that I'm going to share with you that I've been listening to, and some of the observations that I've been getting from this amplifier as it compares to my 30-year-old Class A amplifier. But I really had an opportunity to listen to some great music in doing this. But boy, I tell you what, the differences in amplification, if those guys, if you remember, and if you're kind of following this little update saga of mine, just a month or so ago, I brought home a pair on loan of transparent audio super speaker cables and just swapped them out for my Kimber cable ATCs. What a what an unexpected huge difference that made in the sound. I just wasn't prepared for the type of difference that was going to make for the better. And that really brings me to another thing that I've really been kind of slow at getting out, is I really do have coming up in the next, hopefully, little while, my full review of the Wilson Audio The Watt Puppies that I have had now for about 6 months. And really one of the reasons that I've been kind of dragging my feet on that video to get out to you is because I have been doing this little update, bringing home little bits and pieces here and there and putting them in my system to see the differences. And I've been shocked at the differences. And I guess that's probably a good testament to the sound quality of the Wilson Audio The Watt Puppies, is anytime you make a change, it is quite noticeable from marginal to large. And so I guess that's a credit to any good speaker, that when you make changes, you hear a difference, a very revealing end source, which would be your speakers, can depict those changes that you make, which has really been a neat and fun journey for me. But today, having the opportunity to listen to the Moon Audio 761 from the North collection. It's rated at 200 watts per channel into 8 ohms, 400 watts per channel into 4 ohms, and it seems to be really quite stable down in between the 2 and 3 ohm range, as these speakers tend to go to on occasion. So really, it's been a very fun. I've been worried a little bit about it, worried about that the CA150 has 150 watts, this has 200. Both amplifiers double their power as the impedance drops, but there is certainly some differences between the Class A, which is 30 years old, and the Moon, which is really about a year and a half old. Quite a lot different technology. This is a dual mono design. It has 2 very large triodal transformers in it. The amplifier, even though it doesn't look necessarily as huge, it is massively heavy. I believe shipping weight is around 79 pounds. It's got to be 69 to 70 pounds all by itself. It's heavy, very well made. It's extraordinarily well made. I mean, the craftsmanship, and it's built like a tank. It really and truly is. Around the back, there's plenty of inputs, and of course speaker outputs. The binding posts seem to be very well made. It just really seems to be an extremely well made amplifier. Never having owned Moon equipment before by Simaudio, so if I ended up doing something this would be the first time. But so far I'm very impressed with what I have heard. And and seeing it's a nice looking amp from the Moon amplifier, I was really kind of worried that maybe I ought to be looking at the step up, the 861, which is quite a bit more money than the 761 just because of its power rating. But been very, very pleased in my small room, which is 22 feet long by about 13 and a half, not quite 14 feet wide. It really, really pressurizes the room, so to speak. It really sounds absolutely fantastic. Been very pleased with the sound. In fact, I'm so pleased with the Moon 761, I really put it on my very, very short list, which includes the Macintosh C452 and the Macintosh MC611 mono blocks. Each of those amplifiers sound wonderful with my speakers. The Macintosh is just a little bit different, mostly in the top end and mid-range. Macintosh tends to roll off the top end a little bit, which on some recordings that can really be a benefit. They're quite warm, where I believe the Moon, at least the 761, just from what I'm hearing, is a little bit more strident, maybe, and I don't know if that's the right word to use, but it really has a grip on the bottom end. I will tell you that. Even probably in my listening, probably even a little bit more than the Macintosh, even though both of those amplifiers are far more powerful, at least spec wise, than the Moon. But the bottom end on the Moon has got an incredibly well-controlled bottom end, and the top end is quite a bit more extended, and I can see where some people might not like that. Personally, so far from my listening, I've been very impressed with it. I've really considered, I put this on my short list of amplification units, and I've got a couple more I'm looking at. I want to look at aesthetics, I want to look at audio research, I want to try and snag one or two of those to come home and listen to in my system. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then I'll do the best I can at audio salons and listening to them there. But it's been a great opportunity to have this incredibly powerful amplifier in my home and able to have the opportunity to listen to it in my space, which really at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. What does it sound like in your space? Listening to the Macintosh and the Moon, both fantastic amplifiers. I don't think I could go wrong with either one of them. I think they're fantastic. They're incredible. And so we'll just have to really just kind of see how things fly. Whether or not I decide to match preamps, the Moon preamp that I've been playing with a little bit is both the 791 and the 891, which seems to have a little bit better phono stage in it, which is really the most important to me. And I do believe that the Moon preamplification, preamplifiers anyway, are a little bit more advanced than what I can get from the Macintosh. But still, the Macintosh sound very, very good. Keeping an all, tube type system. If you want to go a little bit with the tube, the C2800 sounds very nice. Once again, it kind of rolls that top in and is a very, very warm. Or the C55, solid state is a little bit more strident and a little bit more detailed, I guess would be the proper word, than is the 2800 tube. But anyway, lots of decisions still left to make, but just this opportunity to listen to and have the opportunity to have this unit in here. Also on loan, and I'll be doing a video on this soon, relatively soon. Also on loan from Utah Audio. Just want to give a quick shout out to Tyler at Utah Audio. He's been so absolutely wonderful in helping me make decisions on what type of equipment to at least listen to and consider, which is really important. But I'm also have on loan a DCS Lina network streaming DAC, as well as the DCS word clock that's kind of a companion of that. And I'll give you, we'll do a video on that on the digital side here shortly as well. That is stuff that's really, really probably way out of my league as far as cost is concerned. But boy, I tell you what, I've been absolutely stunned at what it can do. I have the digital output going from my Sony SACD CD player into the DAC, as well as streaming high-res files from Qobuz. It's unbelievable where digital has gone. And I guess really at the end of the day, what's really cool about it is having the opportunity to see what's possible, what is out there, what can be considered. And anyway, we'll talk about that for another day. But really what I've been listening to and the music that I've been listening to as I evaluate the Moon 761 amplifier has been a lot of, well, I've been listening to a lot of jazz. And so I'm going to probably start with the jazz. You know what, let's start with rock and roll first. But some of the stuff that I've been listening to, and I've been listening to CDs too, because of the DCS, and I'll talk about that when I do that video on the digital side. But some of the albums that I've been listening to are, this is Joe Jackson, Look Sharp. This is the, I believe this is the Intervention version of the album. Incredible sound quality. This sounds absolutely fantastic. Look Sharp is just a great one. Is She Really Going Out With Him was a pretty popular song on the album. The album is recorded, and this is an absolute wonderful pressing of this album. It sounds absolutely stunning. An old favorite of mine, and I just, you know, when you're looking at equipment, you want to see how stuff that you kind of grew up listening to sounds. Sniffing the Tears, Drive. It's just an incredible album. Driver's Seat is really the most popular song. It's really why I bought the album, but the entire album is good. And to be honest with you, the sound quality on this is really quite good. It's crazy how good it sounds. And I probably sound like a broken record when I say these things, but since I got the new speakers, I haven't really encountered anything that I really felt like I've got to turn down or take off because it sounds terrible. Of course, this is really one of the biggest test albums, of course, that I always like to listen to. The Sheffield track record, incredible. The one that I really wanted to pull out is James Newton Howard and Friends. That's another one, and I've yet to do that, but I'm going to. That's another one because he's featured on this album. What a fantastically well-recorded direct-to-disc album. Chicago. This is actually the 2017 Steven Wilson remix, 25 or 6-4. This has just a ton of great albums. In fact, side 4, where you go through the first movements all the way down to the 5th, is where it, or the 4th, excuse me. This has got some just great, incredibly well, just masterpiece type music, and the album sounds fantastic as well. It sounds really good. Chicago 2. Another one that I've been pulled out and I've been listening to with this amplifier is the Alan Parsons Project, Tales and Mystery of Edgar Allan Poe. If you're familiar with this and you're familiar with The Raven, this is just a great, the whole album is fantastic, but I've always loved The Raven. I just think it sounds phenomenal. It sounds incredibly, really good through the Moon amplifier. Just a really neat, incredible. Some of the jazz albums, let me grab these really quick, that I've been listening to. John Clemmer, Touch. This is on the Mobile Fidelity label. It's a really well-recorded album. It just sounds absolutely stunning. This version of the vinyl is incredibly awesome, and it sounds absolutely wonderful. John Clemmer, Straight to the Heart. This is just another, this is the Nautilus version of the album, and I'm here to tell you what, this is recorded extraordinarily well. Incredible dynamics on this album. It just sounds absolutely wonderful. John Clemmer, his saxophone is amazing. You just got to hear that. And yes, another audiophile standard, Patricia Barber, Nightclub. This is on the Premonition label. I didn't pull out the one step from Impex because I wanted to listen to it through. And the Premonition version of this album is simply stunning. It sounds fantastic. But Patricia Barber, Nightclub, the entire album is incredible. Sonics are out of this world. It's just an incredible, incredible album. I did receive my replacement second album from the Acoustic Sound series, Diana Krall, The Look of Love, and I have been playing The Look of Love on this. Diana Krall, her music is timeless, her voice is unbelievable, and the recording is simply stunning. Like I say, I did get the new replacement vinyl for the second album, which is really incredible. And of course, this is the 33 RPM version. Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. This is the UHQR. I do have the 45 RPM of this, but you know what? I pull out the 33. I've listened to the 45 once, and it does sound a titch better, but the 33 RPM is it's my go-to. It's stunning. This is far and away the best version and sounding version of Kind of Blue that I own. I don't have a 6i. I don't have any of the original pressings of it. I've got several pressings of this, but just not one of those original Columbia pressings. But this is just unbelievable. Okay, the last album I want to share with you is the one that's actually on the turntable now. It's Isao Suzuki, and please, I hope I'm not slaughtering that name. The name of the album is Approach, and I'm not going to try and name the band members, but I just want to tell you about this album. It's a Japanese group. This album is simply stunning in its dynamics. I've never in my life heard an album with incredible dynamics, a dual 45 RPM album. The first song on side A that you want to listen to is called Make Trip. It's about a 9-minute long. It's the only song on side 1 on album 1. It is simply stunning. The extension from top to bottom on this album is unbelievable. There's a drum solo at the end of this song. And the drums throughout are great as well, but the drum solo at the end is simply startling in its presentation. Bottom end heft and detail and dynamics are off the charts. This is one of the most incredibly detailed and dynamic albums I've heard in a long time. This is incredibly well. In fact, these drum, and I probably had the volume turned up a little bit much, but when this drum solo started, I just started listening intently because it sounded so well defined and detailed. But boy, there's a few areas in there where he really hits the bass kick drum. And I am not kidding you. When you hear that thump in your chest, I probably had the volume up a bit, but I was just simply stunned. I have never heard bottom end in my room before, ever. Been listening to this album. It was simply stunning. Impactful is probably the best word that I can come up with, because I mean, I played it over 3 or 4 different times. It sounds unbelievably dynamic. It's just incredible. And this kind of really gave me the impression of just how well the Moon 761 amplifier has a control on the bottom end of these Wilson Audio, the Watt Puppie speakers. Simply stunning. If I was to nitpick, and the only thing that I could say about this album, the music on all 4 sides is fantastic. It's an incredibly awesome jazz album, recorded extraordinarily well with incredible dynamics top to bottom. But if there's only one thing that I could say about this album that would be negative, is the noise floor on the album is pretty noisy. It's really not as quiet. It's certainly nothing like what you're going to find from the Mobile Fidelity Super Vinyl and anything from Analog Productions. It's just really quite noisy. When you do have quiet passages, you can hear it. In particular, if you got the volume turned up a little bit, which this album requires because of the incredible dynamics. But I don't want that to sway you. I don't want that to disappoint you. I don't know if it's on SACD or CD. It very well could be. I don't know. But the quality of the recording is excellent. It's just not pressed on the quietest vinyl you've ever heard. And that would be the only thing that I could nitpick. Otherwise, fantastic, fantastic album. Thank you so much for being with me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you very much. If you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. But the most important thing to me, please leave your comments in the comment section below. Thank you so much for doing that. Let me know what you think of the Moon 761 or any of the Moon products, any of the Macintosh equipment, or any other type of equipment that you think that might be a wise thing for me to look at, as I am going to Expona here relatively soon in the next few days to take a look and see what we have there. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a great day.